this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no one.
a second.
Oh, no.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. Septum Sin versus the world. 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 I'd buy that for $1.
We're here to show you what we got.
Yeah.
Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Oh boy.
So Jake wanted to comment on some of the stuff that's been released. Of course, if you want the full list of releases, you can check out our release video. He's been kind of, unfortunately, having to do work.
Yeah. I don't know what's with that. I don't know what the deal is with that.
Work for money. I mean, why can't you just make your job YouTube for free?
So yeah, as he's kind of saying, we haven't really been able to coordinate, or haven't put as much effort into it as we could to coordinate doing the pickups, the what they got list together. But there's a couple things I have to comment on this week. Most notably, well, you knew this was coming if you watched the video. Freaking Parasite is coming out on Criterion. Yeah. Only 2 complaints: that they didn't wait a little bit longer, because you know my thing about stuff being released right away, and that I don't really like the cover. Like, I like the original cover art, and that one that looks like a Lego cover, I wish they'd gone with that. That would have been cool. But it's got some good bonus features. It's a flippin' kick-ass movie, worth picking up. One of a handful of 2019, 2020, like recent releases that are getting re-released this week. Last Christmas is getting a re-release. My Hero Academia, Heroes Rising. Both of those are definitely worth a look as well, but Parasite kicks both their asses. And I also wanted to talk a little bit about Sentai's releases. They're finally putting out a second deluxe edition in the Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon franchise, which is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon 2? They're finally doing another deluxe edition. Since I have the first one, you can bet I'm doing this one. You can call both of those priority, although by his rules, which seem to change every week,
Get used to disappointment.
Parasite is a definite priority. The other one, I will get if I can get it for under $80. We'll say under 60. If I can get it for under 60, it will happen. If I can get it for 65, it may happen. I'm not paying more than that. So it is a priority, but within reason. And they're also doing a re-release of a series that I have on Deluxe, Akame ga Kill. This one is getting a steelbook release, which is not as cool as the Deluxe edition, but it's still pretty cool. And it's a great series. It's worth checking out, so check it out. We're seeing some really cool Clint Eastwood re-releases from Kino Lorber, especially High Plains Drifter looks pretty sweet. And I knew I was going to forget most of what I wanted to talk about, but that was by design because I didn't want to spend a long time on this. So watch the video. There is a lot coming out. It's cool. And you get to see Brandon's weird-ass recommendations for what should be a priority or not without my interruption.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
All right, so it's time to start.
Yeah, it's it's weird.
Hmm?
I have been filming more on Sundays than the
Yeah.
typical filming schedule. It's just
Hmm.
it is a hectic life out there.
Oh, it is indeed. It is indeed. I
And-
actually got off just a bit earlier than expected today and hightailed it up to my other job thinking could take care of some business and didn't realize they were already closed. And it was,
Dope.
yeah.
Oh well.
Oh,
We've got
well.
fun pickups this time.
Oh, yeah.
We actually have time to talk about them a little bit.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll get us started off.
Okay.
And let's see. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Shove you out of the way there.
Oh, thanks.
And this one's interesting because this is one I thought that I would never really get.
Mm-hmm.
A while ago, there was a series that was kickstarted
Mm-hmm.
to bring it from manga to anime.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really happy about this thing being released. I was like, this is going to be awesome. And then they were only able to do one episode. And there were a scant few DVDs of this that went to the backers. I unfortunately was not able to back it at the time. And those few times that they go on sale, you see them for like $200 or more.
Jeez.
So I'm like, well, there's no way I can do that. So what did I do? I went ahead and I found actually somebody would just happen to be like, hey, I'm selling this. I don't really need a lot for it. I just need to get a little bit of money. And a little bit. Okay. We can deal with a little bit. And that is Cat Shit 1. It is, I've read some of the manga, and it's basically you've got these military rabbits, and they are taking out the enemy. In this case, camels, which represent, the Arab groups there. And it is quite dark, considering the main characters. It's a really highly amusing one. This is the English language one, so it has both the original Japanese and has the English dub. And I'm kind of glad that I have a Japanese one on here because it'll be the only anime I have on. And next week's going to be like all Halloween-y stuff, so I can't really. I don't know if I'm going to have any anime on that list either.
Oh, well.
But I see that's good. But this one is my anime per list, and I'll put this in my thumbnail when I take the picture.
Nice. All right. Well, I guess I'll need to give you a thumbnail so me and Ray want to. I need to see that. It sounds fun.
It is fun. It's only 22 minutes. That's why I gave you the link to it so that you could check it out.
So my next one is one that also probably didn't quite perform as planned. Although those that know of it, it is definitely an unassailable classic. No one has ever complained or talked badly about this or put it down or used the word shit in relation to it. No one has ever done such a thing. This is an unassailable classic. What's new, Pussycat? The writing and acting debut of Woody Allen. And also has, look at that cast though, Peter Sellers, Peter O'Toole, Romy Schneider, Paula Prentice, Capuchin, and guest star Ursula Andress. Directed by Clive Donner. I mean, Burt Bacharach doing the music and the theme song that everyone knows. I saw this years ago, and I found it diverting and forgettable, but it's actually one of the movies in my VHS collection that I never upgraded. And my first several are actually from a Kino Lorber purchase from a few months back. I think this was on their going out of print sale, and I was like, I need to have this. I don't care if it's widely regarded as a less than stellar film. It needs to be in the collection, and I look forward to seeing it again eventually.
Oh, it's perfectly enjoyable.
Yeah.
I mean, Woody Allen hates it, but he hates it because it's just a basic bitch comedy,
You could say that, yep.
and it's enjoyable enough. It's a classic for us in the household. So, another one that I had gotten from some crowdfunding. Well, this one I actually did, which was an Indiegogo thing. I didn't spend much on this one. I wouldn't have really because I really wasn't all that into it. But I gave a few bucks here to this one a while back, and that got me a signed copy of Deadly Playthings.
Ooh.
Which is kind of cool. A child's mysterious doll, once home to restless and disembodied spirits, is handed down to the occupants of a new home. The doll, found hidden in the dark recesses of the basement, is adopted by a lonely, near-mute, wheelchair-bound girl. Soon the loving family is thrown into living hell. But the violent deaths and supernatural occurrences bring the doll back into contact with the one person who may be able to help, its original owner. So, some fun stuff. Again, got a little bit of disc art there, nothing huge. SRS Entertainment is kind of a mixed bag. They do cover a lot of indie people you might recognize.
Nice.
And of course, they sent a nice House Shark sticker as well, because it was around the same time that came out.
Right.
And a thing here. And also, I got a poster in here, which I probably should just put up, because if I can get it framed, I just don't. Yeah, right here, you can get like there's the full poster. But I haven't really done much with it because I don't have any place to hang it right now, so it just kind of sits there. That's kind of a fun thing. I like little horror stuff, and it'd be nice to watch it this time of year if I get a chance.
Right.
Yep.
So my next one is notable as a film that actually won an Oscar. It won the only one it was up for, which was supporting actor for co-star Peter Ustinov. And that is a film called Topkapi, or I don't know the best way to pronounce it, by Jules Bassin. And it's got Melina Mercouri, Peter Ustinov, Maximilian Schell, Robert Morley, Akim Tamirov, and Jess Hahn. And it's a film from 1964, which actually I think this is 65. So, we got an early 60s theme going on here. And it's supposedly sort of a romantic comedy / heist film, if I understand correctly. Maybe not a heist film so much as like, what do I want to say? Like an action thriller kind of film. If that I guess that would be the best way. I've never seen it. I've been meaning to. I mean, Ustinov was a great actor, and I'd like to see this movie that he won for. And I've heard generally good things. And again, I think this was on the going out of print sale. So I was like, okay.
Well, sounds like fun. I know I got a couple on that. Now, here's one I've been holding on to forever. I never got to it. And I've gotten to a couple of these like this. This was a Best Buy exclusive steelbook, which probably is in print by this point. Because I know they've done another steelbook since then. And that is Deadpool 2. Like I said, I don't know if this edition is still in print. I know that they have done another steelbook since then. This is the first time they released it. And as you can see, I have very much opened this and watched this again. I don't think I've watched Deadpool 2 since the theaters, actually.
Oh, I haven't either. I need to get it.
So it's one that's just, it's cool to have it on steelbook. I've got the first one on steelbook.
Do you know if they've done a release yet that combines the two versions of Deadpool 2?
Not that I know of yet.
I think that's what I was waiting for.
I was looking for that myself, and I know that the last release that I saw that was on one of these did not.
That's too bad.
They need like a full collection, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Especially with Disney now the mouse taking it.
Yeah. Who knows if there'll be any more, right? So my next one was also, I mean, again, you know, a lot of these. Well, I think this is the last one from the going out of print sale. I had one that was part of another sale they were doing. Well, yeah, it was part of another sale they were doing. Actually, I think this purchase was on the tail end. They did like a really great sale briefly over the summer. And I have another pile here somewhere that I still need to present from that. And I went back to it, and I had missed it. But one of the items I found on here was almost the same price, and the going out of print stuff was still the same price, pretty much. And there's one I got just because I needed to get it. So there you go. But the last one on the going out of print was very cheap. It was only $5. You would be flipping out, not only because this is one that I think you like, but it also came loose in the box. So
I hate when
I still need to open it and watch it. This is a film that I wanted to see back in the day, and I just never got around to it. And when I saw this was going out of print, I'm like, I got $5. I don't care if it is DVD. I gotta get it. And that's the Christopher Lloyd star Camp Nowhere.
Oh yeah,
It looks fun. What's that?
That's out of print, huh?
Well, it's going out of print. So they've also, in addition to Lloyd, you've also got Emmett Walsh in there, and apparently Kate Mulgrew, Jessica Alba, and Burgess Meredith. I mean, you know, that's a fun assortment of people there. And I've been wanting to see this, and like I said, I just never got around to it. I was a big Christopher Lloyd fan back in the day. This came out in '94. So I think it was like the direct follow-up to Addams Family Values for him, probably. And I don't know why I didn't see it at the time, but one day. But since it's loose in the box, it may have to be prioritized.
My goodness. Yeah, I got that myself. It's I still have not watched it. It's not priority, but yeah, whenever I get it and I hear it's loose in the box, I usually don't open them. Yeah. I haven't watched them yet, but if it's loose in the box, I open it immediately because I'm like, I gotta check the damage. I gotta see if it's damaged.
You know, you would be impressed actually because of this. When I went to Best Buy to pick up, I'll present something here probably in a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. I did the pre-order and I went to pick up after having looked at the shelves, which were not quite as empty as you said, but still pretty damn empty. And it just so happens one of the items I had pre-ordered, they had one copy on the shelf. And when he got my pre-order, he was like, "This is loose. You still want it?" And I was like, "I saw one copy on the shelf." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, go see." So I went and got it. And sure enough, I was able to switch it out. But I was kind of like a little bit impressed. I was like, he actually paid attention to that. I'm like, not everyone at Best Buy could be expected to do that.
Mm-hmm. And I just hate when it happens. Blu-ray is a little bit better. A Blu-ray can take the damage a little bit better than a DVD, or help you if it's a CD.
You know what? Come to think of it, I'm going to go ahead and open this and reset it, even if I'm not watching it right away.
CDs are just like, those scratch like nothing. I'm glad about the durability. I wonder if 4K is more durable than Blu-ray. Huh. Oh, good question. So some people have known my review for Deathbed. So I found out that there was another one. There was a remake of it. And that is another Deathbed movie about another possessed evil bed that eats people. So, you know, I like the absurd, and this is a very absurd piece. So I am very curious about it. This was a bed that was the son of Satan. So yeah, just like God, that's just weird.
It's like, how does that even happen? How does that even work?
I don't know. Like, Satan, Satan got together with this woman, and then they had a child, and the child turned out to be a bed.
Well, there's like that one you have, what is it, oversexed drug suckers from Mars, where they
demon
vacuum.
Demon vacuums.
Jeez. But at least the vacuum has a clear insert location. Oh, jeez. Are we going to get dinged from YouTube for that? Well, if you're kids, you're not supposed to be watching anyway, so shoot.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Patrick?
Go ahead.
Okay. So my next one is one that actually has been on my to-get list for a long time. And the sole reason it was on my to-get list is that for a while there, I was trying to beef up the presence of actors in my collection, because we've talked briefly about the insane actor list I used to maintain, and I don't have time for that anymore. But partly because of that, I came up with a to-get list based more on actors than anything else. And one of the most gorgeous women on earth is a woman named Aishwarya Rai. I think Bakshan is a name she sometimes attaches to that as well. And, there's a nice little image there. Oh. And I think she was in Bride and Prejudice, right? Is that where I learned of this one? But anyway, speaking of Jane Austen with an Indian flair, this apparently is an actual Bollywood, like Bride and Prejudice was I believe, a British production with Mira Nair at the helm. This one's apparently an actual Bollywood production called Kandu Kondain, or I Have Found It. And it is an adaptation of Sense and Sensibility. So I am very curious about this. I did not know it was an Austen adaptation when I put it on my list. I just wanted another film with Aishwarya Rai. And I wanted more Bollywood films. I've said before how it's depressingly difficult to find a good selection in this country on physical media. It's very difficult. And I'd like to have a much larger selection. But every now and then I'll find one and I'll get to add it. And I've enjoyed what I've seen out of, mostly enjoyed what I've seen out of that region. And I'm very much looking forward to this. And I was a little bit surprised Kino had it. Like I said, I don't think this one was on sale. I just saw it and I was like, I have got to get that.
That's
too bad it wasn't on Blu-ray, though. I didn't check for it when I ordered it. They only had DVD, and I didn't realize that when I ordered it.
They have a couple. That's one reason why when I do these, when I do the research each time, I have to really pay attention because sometimes Blu-ray.com only covers Blu-rays.
Yeah.
So if it's a DVD only, and there are some DVD only releases, they do mess, which is why they cover in multiple places. I did get another thing from Best Buy around that time period, and I need to get the sequel of this. But people are familiar with Superman Doomsday when they tried to remake The Death of Superman. Well, they kind of flubbed it. So they decided to try again with The Death of Superman. I've heard this one's a bit more accurate towards the comics. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I'm trying to wait till I get The Reign of the Superman, which was the sequel that they did. The Death of Superman is really what got me into comics. I was a big comic collector at one point. He knows this. And this was what got me into it. hearing that Superman was going to die. I didn't know that he died several times before. He was brought back to life. But I wanted...
It got better.
Yeah, and it was just kind of cool. I liked seeing like the invincible being taken down. I can understand Lex Luthor in a way because he always had that anger at this being that's just seemingly like unstoppable. So I always took an interest in that, and then fell onto Emerald Twilight and then Kyle Reiner stuff. So I kind of became more of a DC fanboy from my first foray into comics. But found Marvel shortly after that with Spider-Man and so on. I think also the I had some things like I think Carnage debuted around that same time period or a little bit before. I can't remember.
Early 90s.
Yeah, it was the early 90s. I remember like it was around the time I was in middle school. What ages me? Where they were starting off the second X-Men book, which was X-Men at the time. Yeah. The special fold-out cover, which I still have sitting back there. And so
you probably remember these like multi-pack comics that you could get at the toy, like multi-comic packs. And I remember, I think I got most or all of Maximum Carnage from doing that.
Oh yeah.
And I also picked up most of Nightfall by doing that. And I think that was what got me into DC Comics, was getting all those Batman comics.
Yeah, Nightfall was also happening around that same time period, around the time of the death of Superman. At the beginning, when he was dying, was before Nightfall, and when they had Reign of the Superman, it was after Nightfall. Was during the Azrael stuff, was taken over. So I'm just curious about it, see how well they did, and I'm hoping to get Reign of Superman when it's low. It's just it's never really been low enough for me to grab it. I always want to sell it in that giant box. I don't need a giant box. I want this.
Right. Okay, so my next one should be very familiar to you, Brandon, but it might also be familiar to viewers of Inside Movies Galore. A while back at this point, I'm wanting to say 2 years ago. Could be wrong. We covered the contemporary classic, well, I say contemporary, but this movie's freaking 10 years old at this point, I think. Classic Scorsese film, Hugo.
Oh, yeah.
And as part of the prep for that, I believe, I borrowed this disc off of you, but I reached way back to the dawn of cinema or thereabouts, and I finally picked up this collection for myself. It's called The Magic of Méliès, and it's a really nice little collection with a lot of this short films by Georges Méliès.
Yet not the moon.
What's that?
Yet not the one with the journey to the moon on it.
Yeah, strangely not the one on the cover, but that's probably his best known one. But it does have, what are these, about maybe 15 or so movies-ish. And you see the track listing there on the back, track listing, whatever. And they range basically 1904 to 1908. So, some old movies. But if you...
sorry,
what's that?
Go ahead. Finish your thought. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, if you're a serious student of cinema, you really do need to see these. Like it, and this was really cheap. I think I got it for like $8, which is not bad for what you're getting. And they're not bad films too. They're actually moderately entertaining, and most of them are not that long, which always helps. It says here the running length is 103 minutes, so less than the length of a feature film to watch all these movies. So, yeah, it's plus there's a couple of there's a 20-minute documentary on there. I mean, it's a nice little collection.
As somebody who actually has watched that collection, it is pretty fun, and also has an Edison collection. I don't know if they've got any more, but
I want that.
Because we're talking, those two are kind of like the pioneers of film.
Well, see, that was one of the things I missed on that sale. They have that Edison one and that Fritz Lang one were both actually pretty cheap, relatively speaking. And they had gone back up when I was going to pull the trigger on that Lang one, and it had gone up like $20-$25. I was like, God dang it.
I don't remember what.
Yeah, that Edison set is impressive. They both are.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen all of the Edison set. If you want to hear more about it, Dave and I covered some on Delusions of Grandeur, but we didn't. We were planning on going through the whole thing, but we kind of lost time. as you do.
I know that feeling.
As you do in this business. So
This business.
this non-money making business. We do an excellent job of making no money whatsoever.
Yes. You could even say we're skilled at it.
Oh, we're very skilled at it. So, Black Friday last year. Better times. There was a Death Wish remake where they tried to reboot it with Bruce Willis as the main guy. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out. It had a lot of negative press, and it really wasn't that good from what most people say. It probably was another one of those performances where Bruce Willis was just phoning it in for a paycheck. He's known to do that, unfortunately. Yes. When you can inspire him to actually give a damn, he does a great job. But he's been known to take a paycheck and then put zero effort in, and he's also notoriously hard to work with. So, great combination. And it sounds like he really didn't care about this either. Death Wish is an excellent series of 5 movies and a remake, where you have this guy who got his family killed, and he goes on this vigilante rampage of basically killing all these criminals. Kind of like Punisher before. Well, I don't know. It might have been predating or around the time of the Punisher. So, because it was back in the 70s, I think that it was, with Charles Bronson, I think it was.
Yeah, I believe so.
So, yeah, it was so I'm curious. I need to see it. It's just on those things that people say, why don't you watch this new one or this new one? I've got other films like, well, okay, maybe this could be backburnered, but, I got films to watch, a couple, maybe. Yeah.
I mean, all of mine tonight are priorities, right? Well, some of them are. Yeah. And then I'm going to go in a different tack with the last few. I think we're currently planning on 8, and we'll see how it plays out. These 3, I believe, at this point, I've lost track. Actually, I believe one of these broke the cycle. There is a vendor that I've been buying from on eBay that I typically get 1 item per bunch. I somehow get outbid on all but 1 every time. There have been a couple of them I did not win any. And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, the 2 of these were a product of one where I actually had the chance to be there at the end of the auction, which usually I was at work. And I kind of forced getting 2 of them. But I did, finally. We'll get to those in a minute. I believe I'm remembering correctly which ones are which. First, we're going to point out one of the relatively few, definitely not very few, but comparatively few, live-action productions courtesy of Funimation. And it is specifically 2 I don't remember how many movies this is. At least 2 movies. And it is the Assassination Classroom, the Movies collection. And I have seen little bits I saw the first 5 episodes of the show, and I've read parts of the manga. I think I read about 3 volumes of the manga. And I have very much enjoyed what I've seen so far. This is a delightful series about a class of delinquents that are at a super snobby school, and basically they are shunted to the side and treated like trash by the rest of the school, and everyone looks down on them and all this kind of stuff, and the system is rigged against them. And you get this guy, Koro Sensei, who blows up half the moon. And then he comes down to Earth and says, in a year, y'all are all gone. But in the meantime, I'm going to teach this class. He just decides to become a teacher for some reason. And he makes the world governments a deal. If this class is able to kill me, y'all got nothing to worry about. If they can't, I'm going to blow up, the Earth. And he turns into one of the best, most inspirational teachers in all of anime, while simultaneously dodging assassination attempts. And it's fun. And I want to see the movies. I'm looking forward to these.
Yeah, I have the anime and all the animated stuff with it.
Right.
I don't know if I have any of the live action. I need to see it. It's just again, it's on the list. Mm-hmm. I know how it ends.
Right.
Because
I had intended to go further with the anime and the manga. It just, time. And Funimation's annoying habit of releasing the anime in tiny chunks. Ugh.
At least now you can get both season 1 and season 2 in full chunks.
Yeah.
The movie. And you get the whole story with the 2 seasons. It does have a definitive end. So, at least you don't have to worry about that. And that's a positive. Of course, for those of you who've watched this channel for a while, you know that John Johnson is a person that I have some bit of respect and a little bit of dislike for at the same time. It's kind of a love-hate relationship there. And he did the Skeleton Key movies and the Plan 9 remake, which, by the way, you can see those as reviews. And his Skeleton Key movies keep being mistaken by my commenters with the other Skeleton Key movie. And they're like, how dare you hate on this movie? It's like, do you even... And then they'll mention the actress that was in the other film. And I'm like, she's not in these movies. Do you realize these are entirely different? Comment when you've seen these movies. But I decided to get more. I really want to get his Manos Hands of Fate sequel. And
sequel, though.
Yes. And there's another one that he based off a video game that I thought looked really good that I think he could have done really well. And it's not the 11th Guest. No, it's the 7th Guest, which I want to see. But I don't think either of those came out on physical. But he did put one out called Deceptors, which is kind of cool. And I did want to go ahead and see this, and I think I will probably do a review on it. It's about a bunch of con people who go to Nilbog. It's always Nilbog. And for those of you who are familiar with the Troll series, know about Nilbog. And these people, they're con people. They dress up like monsters, terrorize the populace, and then bust the monsters in order to make money. Fortunately, they end up waking up real demons, and now you got a problem. You know how it is, those pesky little demons.
Yeah. Jeez. All right. Am I go?
Yep.
All right. So, like I said, I'm almost sure these two were together. And honestly, it's one of the reasons I got this one. I was willing to go a little more knowing I could save on shipping and, but it still was pretty darn cheap. I got a couple more Funimation anime titles. And this is one that I was curious about. I don't know much about it, but given the pedigree, says on the back from the director and studio behind Fruits Basket and Kami-sama Kiss. So that sounds promising. And that's a series called Meiji Tokyo Renka.
Ah.
And it happened on the night of the Crimson Moon. Mei Ayazuki was swept away to a different time period by the mysterious magician Charlie. And an unfamiliar to familiar Tokyo, and her memory fuzzy, she's rescued by the dashing Ogai Mori and winds up as his fiancé. Soon she discovers her ability to see spirits is quite sought after by many handsome historical figures, in fact. So apparently this sounds to me kind of like a reverse harem with shades of Inuyasha, basically. Maybe a little bit of Library Wars, Bungo Stray Dogs, something like that with a more literary bent to the characters. Could be fun. It looks, if nothing else, the art should be nice. I've heard good things, what I've heard, but what I've heard has been kind of minimal. So, price was right.
That is interesting. I've heard about it at least. And that's something. Something you don't hear about. I mean, now I know you've heard about this one. This one has, oddly enough, come up with 2 sequels, one of which released this year after waiting a long while between. And I ain't paying $20 for it, so I'm waiting for it to come down in price, much like I did for the second movie. Now, of course, the movie that I'm talking about has a great cast. Stellan Skarsgård, Sam Jackson, Michael Rappaport, LL Cool J, and Thomas Jane. You know what I'm talking about?
I have a feeling.
We're talking about Deep
Yep.
Sea. These aren't just sharks. These are smart sharks. And and they...
I don't know. Anyone that interrupts Samuel L. Jackson mid-sentence can't be that smart.
Well, they're out in the movie, so that tells you something. They're that smart. They're tough sharks. Somebody, people, they're in the laboratory and decide to artificially boost the brain power of killer sharks. As you do.
As you do.
And it doesn't seem to work out the way they intended it to.
As it usually doesn't.
So then they have to fight for their lives in order to not die at the hands of smart sharks. The jaws of smart sharks. They don't have hands, with fins.
Oh, yeah.
That was my last one, so I'll leave it to you.
Well, they don't have hands until the next upgrade, the re-rendering or whatever.
They made sharks with hands.
So, speaking of weirdness and all-around tomfoolery, that's apparently the MO of this next series, which is one I really want to see, but I'm delayed by the fact that I have not seen and do not own any of the series that spawned it. And this is a parody spin-off of ReZero, Overlord, Konosuba, and Saga of Tanya the Evil called Isekai Quartet.
Wow.
So I was very surprised I was actually able to get this at a reasonable price. But I really want to see this. I love parody stuff, especially if it's good. Mostly if it's good. I don't like it so much if it's not. But it just looks cute. And again, all of these are series I have at least a passing interest in. I'm very interested in seeing Konosuba and Saga of Tanya the Evil.
Yeah.
And at least somewhat interested in the others. And I did read 2 volumes of the manga for Attack on Titan Junior High, and I love that approach to that series, and this reminds me of that. So if this is that amusing, I should be able. I have not actually read or seen much of Attack on Titan. You showed me, I think, 2 episodes. So I could still get a lot out of the parody, and I could probably still enjoy this. I'll probably enjoy it more once I see the shows, but it'll be good times.
I have all that's been released physically of all of the shows it references. But more is coming out for those other series. But I think that there's enough out that you can get all the references if you watch what's out right now.
Right.
So it's going to be fun to actually check it out. So now that I have all of it together, Konosuba was the last piece that had to fall in. And it briefly went out of print. Thank goodness. I think it's back in print, so I'm glad that it was like very brief. I think it's back in regular price. So I'm hoping it goes down in price and on sale again so that you can scoop up more of it.
Right. So
we're
a little earlier than planned. Do you want to add a couple, or are you good?
No, I need to do a couple things before we get on, but this will give us some time to get ready for our night show.
Yeah.
If y'all haven't seen it, you should check out as we are continuing our Horrorween as we start delving into Friday the 13th.
Oh boy. Get your hot dogs ready.
We'll cook a lot by the campfire, sing some songs, have some people get slaughtered. You know the stuff. All fun.
Yeah, for kids.
All right, well, we will see you on the next one. Goodbye.